Welcome to Mr. Joe's exclusive stories, where every heartbreak becomes a turning point and every betrayal hides a lesson. Today's story isn't just about pain, it's about power. Stay with me till the end, because what this woman does next will shock you and inspire you to never underestimate your own strength. Let us dive in.
I had always trusted him. The late-night texts, the sudden phone calls, the unexplained work meetings, I ignored them all, choosing love over suspicion because that's what you do when you've decided someone is your safe place. I told myself he was tired. I told myself he was stressed. I told myself that love was patient and understanding and that real adults don't scroll through their partner's phones or interrogate them over every ping and vibration. I repeated those things like a prayer, like a spell that would keep the ugly possibilities away. But that evening, fate had other plans. I walked into the cafe we once called our place, the little corner spot with chipped wooden tables, soft yellow lighting, and that smell of roasted coffee beans that used to wrap around us like a warm blanket. We had shared first dates there, late-night planning sessions, and quiet, comfortable silences. I went in because it was on my way home, because it was raining and I wanted warmth, because I missed how that place used to feel. I didn't go looking for anything, but my eyes found him anyway. There he was, Daniel, leaning close to another woman at our booth, fingers brushing hers, his laughter soft and intimate, the kind of laugh he used to reserve for me when he called me his favorite person. The world went silent in an instant. The mug in my hand slipped, my fingers going numb. It hit the floor with a shatter that seemed too loud for the quiet cafe, fragments of ceramic skidding across the tiles like tiny white knives. My trust broke in the same instant. Sound returned in pieces. The hiss of the espresso machine, a distant song from the speakers, a soft gasp from someone behind the counter. He looked up at the noise, annoyed at first. I could see it in his eyes. Then his gaze landed on me, and all the color drained from his face. Panic flashed across his features, his smile dying in an awkward, twitching line. "Hannah," he started, half standing, knocking his thigh against the table. The other woman turned to look at me, confusion in her eyes, lips still parted around a half-formed laugh. "Hannah, it's not what it looks like," he stammered, the cliché spilling out of him so easily it made my stomach twist. The lie didn't even make it halfway to me before it shriveled in the air and fell between us, like another broken cup. I felt nothing and everything at the same time. Anger, humiliation, sadness. Yes, all of it, but underneath, a strange, icy clarity. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there and watched him while the cafe staff rushed forward, murmuring apologies as they crouched to clean up the mess at my feet. I took a breath, and I could feel the old version of myself, hopeful, trusting, soft, standing on a cliff inside my chest. She teetered there while the wind of reality tore at her. Then she fell. In her place, something steadier rose. I smiled. Not the bright, easy smile he knew. This one was slow, cold, unrecognizable even to me. "You're right," I said softly, my voice calm in a way that scared even me. "It's worse." The woman sitting with him frowned, looking between us, putting pieces together very quickly. She slid her hand away from his and pulled back, embarrassment staining her cheeks. I didn't know," she whispered, eyes on me, not him. I just nodded once, because she wasn't my problem. He was. Or rather, he had been. Past tense. I left without another word. I stepped back into the rain without an umbrella, without thinking, without feeling the cold at first. The water soaked through my blouse, plastered my hair to my face, blurred the streetlights into long streaks of yellow and red. My heels clacked uselessly on the pavement, each step harder than the last. I walked and walked, past the bus stop, past my usual turn, letting the city swallow me whole. My phone buzzed again and again in my bag, his name, his messages, his calls. I didn't look. I didn't need to. Whatever apology he was composing with shaky thumbs couldn't rearrange what I'd seen. It couldn't unshatter a cup, unwitnessed the way he looked at her like she was a possibility he deserved. By the time I reached my apartment, I was shaking from the cold. I peeled off my wet clothes mechanically, throwing them into a damp pile on the bathroom floor. Steam fogged the mirror as I turned on the shower, and when I stepped under the water, it was hot enough to sting. Only then did the tears come, not dramatic sobs, just thin, endless streams running down my face, indistinguishable from the shower spray. I leaned my forehead against the tiles and tried to remember exactly when things began to shift. Was it when he stopped texting me goodnight? When he started missing Sunday brunches because of deadlines? When he flinched so slightly I almost missed it, when I casually picked up his phone to check the time. The signs had been there like red flags lining a parade route, but I'd walked past them smiling, waving, pretending they were decorations instead of warnings. I didn't sleep much that night. I lay on my back, staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional car passing on the street. His messages lined my screen like little digital bruises. "I'm so sorry. Please let me explain. It was just a misunderstanding. You know I love you. Can we talk?" I read them all and responded to none. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, I opened my laptop instead. Not to watch something or scroll through social media. I opened my work files. The presentation. The proposal. The thing I'd been working on for months that could change everything for me, for my department, even for the company. The project that Daniel had casually mentioned he might take off my plate if I was too overwhelmed. The project he'd once suggested he should present instead of me because he knew how to speak their language better. I had smiled then, thanked him for the offer, and declined. Politely, softly. Tonight, I opened the file with a different intention. I worked straight through dawn. Slides, data points, narrative flow. I sharpened every argument, tightened every visual, rehearsed every word in my head. I didn't think about him. I thought about me. About the late nights I had stayed back at the office while everyone else clocked out. The weekends I spent refining details no one asked me to refine. I thought about the times I sat beside Daniel at his desk, helping him redo his own slides when he'd procrastinated, believing that supporting your partner meant carrying half their load. I thought about the way our manager, Lillian, had praised him for his work and the way he'd squeezed my knee under the table, a silent thank you that somehow felt insufficient now. No, not just insufficient, insulting. I had been quietly building something while he was out there casually dismantling us. When the sun finally pushed its way through my curtains, my eyes were burning and my throat felt raw, but the presentation was flawless. I showered, dressed, and put on makeup with steady hands. Not to impress him, not even to impress the room. I did it like armor. Black fitted trousers, white blouse, blazer the color of wet storm clouds, hair pulled back into a sleek ponytail. In the mirror, I barely recognized myself. There was something set in my jaw, something sharp and clear in my eyes. Betrayal had carved away the softness and left behind clean lines. On the way to the office, I saw his name pop up again on my phone, this time with a call instead of a text. My finger hovered over the decline button. Then I tapped it, sent him to voicemail, and turned my phone face down on the passenger seat. The building loomed ahead, glass and steel, reflective and cold. I walked through the revolving doors like I was walking onto a stage. In the lobby, I caught my reflection in the polished floor and almost laughed. If anyone had told me that Heartbreak could make you look more put together instead of less, I would have called them a liar. But there I was, composed to the point of near detachment. Our team meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. The email had gone out the previous week. Candidate presentation for new project lead on the Horizon Initiative. A fancy name for the digital transformation project that everyone knew would be a fast track to promotion and visibility. Officially, there were 3 internal candidates, me, Daniel, and Priya. Unofficially, everyone expected it to go to Daniel. He was charming, well-liked, and good in front of clients. I was the meticulous one in the background, the one who made sure everything worked. Supporting cast. Not anymore. I walked into the conference room 5 minutes early. It was empty, the long table glossy and waiting, chairs lined up like judgmental spectators. I connected my laptop to the screen, double-checking the slides. One by one, people began to filter in. Lillian, the senior managers, a couple of directors I'd only ever seen in passing. They greeted me politely, some with distracted smiles, already half focused on their phones. Then Daniel walked in. He froze when he saw me at the front of the room. He looked as though he hadn't slept either, dark shadows under his eyes, jaw tense, tie slightly askew. "Hannah, can we talk?" He whispered as he approached me, urgency buzzing off him like static. "Not right now," I replied, my voice low but firm. "We're about to start." His eyes flicked to the screen, to my name on the title slide. Horizon Initiative, Strategic Roadmap, presented by Hannah Cole. That muscle in his jaw jumped. He opened his mouth, then shut it again as Lillian clapped her hands lightly. "All right, everyone, let's begin," she said, taking the seat at the head of the table. "We'll be hearing from each candidate today. They've had equal access to the data and support. We're looking at clarity, strategic thinking, and leadership potential. Let's keep an open mind." She smiled around the room, then turned to me. "Hannah, you'll go first." Once, that might have made me nervous. Once, I might have wished for Daniel to go ahead of me so I could adjust in the moment, gauge the room, soften my own edges. But not today. Today, I picked up the remote, straightened my shoulders, and began. As I spoke, the room slowly shifted. People leaned forward. Phones were put face down. Questions were asked, not out of politeness, but genuine interest. Every slide, every data point, every prediction I laid out landed with a quiet, satisfying weight. I didn't oversell. I didn't rush. I walked them through the story I had built, tying the company's past missteps to future opportunities like knots in a rope, each one pulling us forward. And beneath every word, there was a pulsing, unseen truth. I did this. Not him. Not us. Me. At some point, my gaze brushed over Daniel. He was staring at the table, pen held uselessly in his hand, lips pressed tight. I could almost see it. The reel of the previous night playing in his head, colliding with this moment. The cafe. The broken cup. The woman. Me, silent in the doorway. Me now, commanding the room he thought was his. It must have been suffocating. A small, petty part of me enjoyed that thought. A larger part simply felt done. When I finished, the room was quiet for a heartbeat. Then Lillian nodded slowly. "Thank you, Hannah," she said. "That was very strong. Any final questions?" A couple of directors asked for clarification on timelines and resources. I answered easily. When I sat down, my hands were no longer trembling. They were steady, folded on the table in front of me, while my heart settled into a new rhythm. Priya went next. She was good, sharp, thoughtful, with a different angle that genuinely impressed me. I listened to her and felt a flicker of pride. We'd spent late nights bouncing ideas off each other in the office kitchen. Then it was Daniel's turn. He walked up with his laptop, plugged it in, and his first slide appeared. It was confident, clean, familiar, too familiar. I watched him flip through visuals I recognized immediately, not because we worked in the same department, but because they were slightly modified versions of the frameworks I'd used in my earlier drafts. The older drafts. The ones he glanced at when I asked for his opinion weeks ago. My jaw clenched, but I said nothing. No one else knew the order in which my ideas had evolved, the little details that signaled an earlier version of my thinking. I knew. That was enough. He started confidently, but it didn't hold. His voice wavered when a director asked a question he clearly hadn't anticipated. He tried to improvise, to charm his way through it, but the answer came out messy, thin. Lillian's expression didn't change, but I'd worked under her long enough to recognize the tiny shift in her eyes. She'd seen it too. At one point, he glanced at me, as if hoping I might silently rescue him the way I'd done 100 times before with last-minute slide edits and whispered reminders. I held his gaze, expression neutral, and let the silence sit until he stumbled onward. After the last candidate finished, everyone stepped out for a short break while the leadership team deliberated. The rest of us waited in the hallway. Priya came over and bumped her shoulder lightly against mine. "You killed it in there," she whispered. "If this doesn't go to you, I'm starting a riot." I laughed softly, grateful, and told her she was incredible too. Daniel hovered nearby, watching, waiting. Finally, when Priya excused herself to grab coffee, he moved in. "Hannah, please," he said, voice low. "Can we talk now? Just 5 minutes." I looked at him properly for the first time since the cafe. His eyes were red-rimmed, his posture defensive but desperate. I realized I no longer felt the urge to reach out and smooth the tension from his shoulders. A distance had opened up between us, and it felt right, equal parts painful and liberating. "Fine," I said. 5 minutes. We stepped into an empty meeting room. He shut the door, running a hand through his hair. "About last night," he began. "It wasn't what you think. I mean, it looked bad, I know, but I'm not stupid, Daniel." I cut in quietly. "Please don't waste my last bit of respect for you on a bad cover story." He flinched. "It's not a cover story." I was confused. Things between us have been tense. I've been stressed about this promotion. I wasn't thinking straight. She's just someone from the marketing team we've been working closely on. "You were holding her hand," I said, laughing with her in our spot. "You looked at her like..." My voice almost broke, but I pulled it back. "You know how you looked at her. I don't care what label you put on it. I know what I saw." He exhaled, shoulders sagging. "Okay," he admitted after a moment. "Okay, you're right. I messed up. I wasn't fully honest with myself about what I was doing. But it didn't mean anything, Hannah. You mean something. We can fix this. We've gotten through worse." I blinked, genuinely puzzled. "Worse? When have we gotten through worse?" He opened his mouth, then closed it again, realization dawning slowly. The silence between us stretched and changed shape. Finally, I shook my head. "No," I said. "You've gotten through things with me supporting you. That's not the same as us getting through something together." He looked stricken. "I love you," he whispered. I believed he thought that was true. But love without honesty isn't love. It's possession. "You love the way I show up for you," I replied. "You love the version of me that makes your life easier, your work better, your image shinier. You don't love me enough to choose me when temptation shows up in a cafe. You don't love me enough to say, 'This is my line and I won't cross it.'" His eyes filled with tears, but he didn't let them fall. "So that's it," he asked. "You're just done?" I thought about the countless second chances I'd given him over smaller things. The white lies about staying late when he'd actually gone out for drinks. The forgotten dates. The way he sometimes used my work in his presentations with a quick, rushed credit that no one ever heard. Each time, I'd let it slide because I loved him. Because I believed that being understanding was virtuous. But understanding without boundaries is self-erasure. "Yes," I said. "I'm done." A knock on the door cut through the heaviness. One of the assistants peeked in. "They're ready to announce the project lead," she said, looking between us, oblivious to the emotional wreckage in the room. "Everyone's gathering back in the conference room." "Thanks," I replied. She disappeared and the door clicked shut. Daniel swallowed hard. "Good luck," he said hoarsely. It sounded more like a plea than well-wishing. "You too," I replied out of habit, but the words felt hollow. We walked back together, but not side by side. We entered the conference room and took our separate seats, the space between us now more than physical. Everyone quieted as Lillian stood. She glanced at the notes in front of her, then looked around the table. "First, I want to say how impressed we were with all 3 presentations," she began. "You each brought something valuable to the table. This decision was not easy. That said, leadership requires not just good ideas, but coherent strategy, clarity under pressure, and the ability to connect different parts of the business into a unified vision." My heartbeat picked up, drumming against my ribs. I kept my face neutral, focusing on my breathing. Lillian's gaze flicked briefly to me, then to Priya, then to Daniel before settling somewhere at the back of the room as if to avoid giving anything away. After careful consideration, she continued, "We've decided to appoint Hannah as the project lead for the Horizon Initiative." My name hung in the air like a bell. There was a brief beat of silence, then a smattering of applause. Priya was the first to clap, grinning at me with genuine delight. I felt my lips curve into a smile. Small at first, then wider as the reality sank in. My hands were steady as I folded them on the table, but inside, something unfurled. Not triumph over anyone else, just a quiet acknowledgement of my own worth. I didn't look at Daniel right away. When I finally did, he was staring straight ahead, his face blank. Then, as if sensing my gaze, he turned. Our eyes met. There was no anger in his expression, just a hollow shock and a dawning comprehension that this moment was bigger than a promotion. It was a pivot point, a mirror held up to the choices he had made. The rest of the meeting passed in a blur of congratulations, timelines, and next steps. When we were finally dismissed, people came up to shake my hand, clap my shoulder, offer their support. I thanked them, feeling strange and grounded all at once. I spotted Daniel hovering near the door, as if unsure whether to come to me or leave quietly. In the end, he left. I watched his back retreat down the hallway and felt no urge to follow. By lunchtime, the company-wide email went out. We are pleased to announce that Hannah Cole has been appointed project lead for the Horizon Initiative. It popped up on my screen with a soft chime, and I stared at the words for a long time. A part of me had always believed that if I just worked hard enough, stayed loyal enough, loved generously enough, everything else would naturally fall into place. But life, both personal and professional, had just taught me something different. Sometimes, you don't receive what you deserve until you stop clinging to what doesn't. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from a colleague. Congrats, Hannah. So well-deserved, clapping hands, then another. And another. Buried between them was a text from Daniel. You really got it. I'm proud of you. I'm also sorry for everything. I hope we can find a way through this. I stared at the words, feeling the ghost of who we had been brushed against me. The inside jokes, the shared meals, the plans for a trip we never took. I thought about forgiveness, not as a gift to him, but as a release for myself. I didn't know when I'd be able to say, I forgive you, and fully mean it. But I knew that even if I got there one day, it wouldn't mean going back. I typed out a reply. Thank you. Then, after a moment, I added, I wish you the best, truly. But there is no we to find a way through anymore. I hit send before I could overthink it. For a few seconds, I watched the screen, waiting for the typing bubbles to appear. They did, then vanished, then appeared again. Finally, nothing. Silent acceptance. Or maybe just silence. Either way, it was enough. That evening, as I stepped into the elevator to go home, the office slowly emptying behind me, I caught my reflection in the mirrored doors. I saw a woman who had been cracked open but not destroyed, someone who had finally stopped shrinking herself to make room for someone else's comfort. I thought about the girl who walked into that cafe believing that love meant ignoring her own instincts, and I felt a surge of fierce tenderness for her. She had tried her best with what she knew. Now I knew better. As the elevator doors slid shut, sealing me into that small, humming box, I exhaled deeply. The floor numbers blinked downward, each one marking the distance between who I was yesterday and who I was now. I didn't have everything. I didn't have the man I once imagined standing beside me at some future altar. But I had something more precious. Clarity, self-respect, a path sheathed in my own footsteps, not someone else's shadow. Under my breath, barely audible even to me, I whispered, never underestimate a woman who's been betrayed. The words settled into the air like a quiet vow, not a threat, not a promise of revenge, just a statement of fact. A reminder that sometimes, the most shocking thing that happens after heartbreak isn't the downfall of the person who hurt you, it's the rise of the person they thought would never leave.
In life, betrayal can break you, or it can build you. Hannah chose to rise, and so can you. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mr. Joe's exclusive stories for more emotional, life-changing narratives that remind us all. Every ending can be a new beginning.